Right. So Peru, tell me, Alka, have you visited Peru? Is that where you get all the
Yeah.
energy?
Motivation and the energy from.
It's a beautiful country, beautiful country. It's like it's in layers. So you have the coast, the Lima. So you have the sea, then you move, then you have the rainforest, and then after that you have the mountains. So in one country you get like everything, and each region is like so different from the other. Like the rainforest is hot and it's humid and it's mosquito infested and all, and then you suddenly go to the mountains and it's cool and it's beautiful and it's gorgeous weather, and like those mountains are just so majestic, so majestic. It's like seeing the Himalayas, like
Hmm.
towering mountains. It just gives you like such a feeling of like I'm such a small little dot in this creation. Like
Mhm.
there's so much beautiful, and the people are so colorful. Like the Cusco market we went to was just a splash of color. It's like Indian market, and they wear these lovely ponchos, which are all woven. Most of it is alpaca wool, and nice bright colors. Um, Lots of handicrafts, ceramics and pottery, basket weaving and all.
Hmm.
Then, of course, we went to the rainforest, which was amazing. We saw so many species of birds. They have such colorful birds in South America. It's amazing, just amazing.
Oh, then we
The
need to make some
guide book of
birds.
birds was like that thick.
Wow.
So it was just very good. And then Lake Titicaca, that was like just that entire population lives on islands, and that islands are just reeds, that are
Yeah.
woven together. So when you walk, it's like walking on a mattress, on a Dunlop mattress or something.
Waterbed.
Yeah, it's like walking a bit. And you see people going everywhere. Of course, the boats, those decorative boats are for tourists,
Right.
but they are normally using canoes. And then that's where this one of our guys told us the story about the cantankerous mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Cut her off and set her up.
She'll just float away.
Yeah, but like very nice. Oh, and there's another strange thing there.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, when people build a house, they leave the outside of the house unfinished. Like, they don't plaster it or anything. They'll do the interiors up very nicely and all. Because if the outside is unplastered, then the tax is less.
Wow.
So you have all these houses
How
that look
smart.
like
How
even
smart.
all the brickwork showing, but inside it's all very nice and fancy.
This is so different from, I know of countries where if your walls or the upkeep of your house from the outside is not good, you are fined, and the fines are horrible. Like even in Holland, if your front lawn is not taken care of,
Yeah.
fines, and they keep slapping fines on you till one day they will just come and do it. Because why? Because it's that your
Upsetting their aesthetic.
no, yeah, it's an eyesore, and then
Ah.
eyesore for the neighborhood and for the neighbors is a cost to bear, like the emotional cost of having a bad garden.
Yeah, so initially I was wondering, like, is this some kind of Laurie Baker thing? Because Laurie Baker has this thing with the exposed brickwork, his
Yeah.
architecture has it. And they were like, no, 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 this is so that the taxes are less, so you pay less tax.
How strange, wonderful, but nice observation.
So, yeah, very, very interesting country. South America is so much more interesting than North America, like so much.
North America, I guess, is overdone now.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me something. Now that all the pictures have been shared, and we have done a couple of these travel pages, for today's page, do you want to attempt this by yourselves? Because you just had a class yesterday, and we've had the double, I mean, we've done the double class 2 weeks in a row, so that you follow the same processes. On the back of the page, you make little thumbnails of the shapes, make a composition, and then you can make it yourself. If you feel you can do it, just go ahead and do it. If you feel not, then you can do it with me. I just wanted to see if you want to have fun, so that we have different pages for everyone. And of course, these are not the only images that you need to work with. You can look for images that are more appropriate. So let me show you the images that I've shared just now. So while I found that my work had reduced severely because of all the images that Alka has shared, and then also whoever else has contributed. So part one of how to look for images is done, but then there are still a few things that I can suggest. Like this is a wonderful picture of Machu Picchu. Is this
Machu
Machu
Picchu.
Picchu? Yeah.
This is
Because
amazing. This place is just so amazing. Oh my God.
yeah,
They've not used any concrete in this entire structure, okay?
hmm,
And this is in the middle, this mountain, and it is surrounded by high mountains on all sides. And
hmm,
the stone that they have used is not from there. It's being brought from somewhere. So God knows how they carried, and it's huge blocks of stone, huge blocks of stone, and they're all fitted like jigsaw puzzles, and they're
hmm,
fitted so tight that you can't even pass a paper through them. It's that tightly fitted.
hmm.
So how they did it is like just a complete mystery.
So yeah, so normally when we see a picture of Machu Picchu, it's from very far away
Yeah,
because that site I think is even more peculiar. That what is this whole settlement doing on top of a hill, no?
yeah,
But this is a nice picture because it brings you closer to the buildings, and you can draw these a little better. Then this is absolutely cute. The people and their clothing, this is nice. For the mountains, there's another picture someone has shared later
yeah. Ritu
where
shared
the
one.
colors are slightly brighter. And these could be the difference between a professional photographer who might have even tweaked the image versus what our home cameras, I guess, or phone cameras can capture. There is often like a huge difference in color and contrast. So while we have our own pictures, we can always look for something that gives you a better uh, color range, maybe, just as an option. The potatoes are fantastic. I would love this just as a poster in my house. So you can make this the way they are. Now with the boats, again, this is such a lovely picture, but the boats are not clearly visible. And I remember doing this page for kids, or for the kids class a couple of years ago, where we'd taken just one single boat instead of the double. And we found, I think I put a picture later, sorry. Yeah. So this one brings you a little closer to the boat and gives you more detail of how the straw has been bound together. So there also it's got a nice reflection, the reeds in the background. So this in itself can be a very pretty picture. With the whole thing, you put this little jetty here with straw hanging, up to you. Then we had that tea. So, oh, sorry. I don't know why it won't go there. Yeah. So while the tea looks great in this, it could be any tea. So I wanted to look for something that is or um, more local. So I found these cups which have very South American colors, and the motifs or the graphics are still more South American recognizable. So for someone from our continent, they could be anywhere from Mexico to Argentina. But obviously, because of the nature of the tea, you could say that this is probably in Peru. Then the animals are great. So both the capybara and the alpaca are lovely. You can draw just one of these and that's fine. And also you don't need to draw the whole animal. You can just draw the face. So if you want to look for a close-up of just the face so that you can focus on the eyes, maybe that also would be good. Yeah, here is the more dramatic picture of, well, what mountains are these? Do you know the name of the mountains?
No.
Okay, so
They're
that's
rainbow mountains in, I
Rainbow
think,
Mountains.
Mexico.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
And then these are also beautiful. So when you're drawing any of these as a photograph, you can instantly tell that these are um, some kind of land feature. But when you illustrate, there's a chance that this might look completely different. This could very well look like a pattern of tiles. So we have to be careful drawing or painting the any object in nature so that it represents itself and not something else. Okay, so we'll come to that. Now, a couple of things that I added are the map of Peru. So while these two beautiful illustrated maps have been given to us, my recommendation always is to see all these maps, but draw from the real map. So look for the real location of the cities, the mountains, rivers, and make a graphic out of this. And in this, you will find names of cities from where then you can look for pictures of those cities and find relevant monuments or relevant animals, whatever symbol you want to use for that city, and then place it over there. So it resembles the illustrated map that you have admired, but it does not have to be the exact same thing. Then lastly, look for some kind of architectural building to draw. It usually helps to have some local architecture reflected. Now, this is not really local, it's more Spanish local than Peruvian local, but still it gives you some cultural story that you can tell. Okay, so do you guys want to give it a shot? Okay, all right. Pragya, how do you feel? Because you're new and you can tell me if you feel confident, you want to give it a shot, or would you like me to do it with you? Wait, I can't hear you. I think you're, wait,
Hello.
wait, yeah, let me just increase the volume. Okay, go ahead.
I was saying that I could probably want to do with you because this is the first class I am attending.
Okay,
So some guidance would be helpful.
all right, okay.
Yeah.
So you were there for one of the classes before, right?
No, I was not. This is
For
the
the
first
Japan class, you weren't there. Okay, never mind. All right, so I'll do it with you, and then everybody else, you can take whatever I'm doing, or then do your own thing, however you want to do it. Okay.
I'll be doing with you too, Aditi.
I too will do it with you.
Me too.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine.
Because
No
then we
worries.
are full of ideas, when we go out and then we explore those ideas.
Okay, all right.
The
Okay.
comfort of being in the chhatra chaya of the teacher. No?
No worries, no worries. It's perfectly understandable. All right, so let's make a few thumbnail sketches of multiple items, and then we will shortlist from that and then make the page. So don't decide ahead of time what you want on your page before you make the shapes, and let your eye travel over that subject and gauge level of difficulty and also feasibility. So here we go. The first thing, of course, I always do is tackle the more complicated thing like the building. Do I want to do it? Is it too complicated? If it is, then should I bother or whatever? But take just 2 minutes to draw the building. Though we see it at an angle, you can draw it as if you are facing it. Only draw the significant lines. To make it a little easier, maybe I can draw it with a pen. So I have a baseline, then I have one pair of lines on the left. The distance from the side to the first, I guess, section, and the middle section is about 1.5 or so. This is all just eyeballing. I have no measurements. And then I'm just seeing proportionately how I will be able to do this. So keep looking at the image, not just what I'm drawing. Then you have this very, very interesting arch. We don't get to see these kinds of arches in our architecture or the Indo-Saracenic architecture much. Then you have these pillars on the side going higher. And I'm not drawing anything on the sides. I'm just drawing the front. It's like a two-dimensional thing. So I want you to see how the lines are fairly casually drawn. Ek to this is a rough image, but you can often make your fair image also with these lines, and many urban sketchers will do this. So whenever possible, just pick up a pen and try drawing with the pen. You will only get better if you do some of it. Okay, so obviously my arch has become too tall because this cross was supposed to end here. So I can make it shorter. And whatever adjustments I want to make, I will make them here. If you notice that you have made some kind of error in judgment, correct it as soon as you see it. Don't just let it fester. Okay, there's a bell in here. And there are some very, very interesting oval windows. Center panel is extremely ornate. See, here's where I'm at. Are you able to recognize the features that I have drawn as I see them in the main building? So when I'm drawing this, I don't move my eye beyond the building. So I'm not looking here or there. I am measuring distances. So I'll say, okay, where does the next floor come with respect to the earlier floor or the earlier lines I'm drawing? So the best thing to do is to not even think of it as a building. You see lines, you see curves, you see shadows. And believe me, that's all you need to note down. So with every line that I draw, I just make sure that it comes and sits next to whatever feature it is supposed to sit. At the distance that this photo has been taken, you won't really see too many other details also. You will at best see some lines, some squiggles. So you won't see the detail of if there is a sculpture there or some kind of very elaborate decorative molding. So you just see almost like lines that fill up that space. And remember, this is just a rough image. You have to do this all over again.
This is an exercise in patience.
It is. Patience, observation, and even detachment.
Yeah. Because a lot of times I just want to rush through things, and here there's no scope for that.
No, true. So I just want to know, are you able to distill all the lines that you see into the important lines? So you bring out only the important stuff. So when we are making this illustration, it is going to be a version of the same. It's not going to be more detailed necessarily. A little more is fine, but not too much more. But when you make a sketch like this, you generally get an idea of how everything fits together and what to watch out for. Plus, you will have made some mistakes, so you know what to avoid next time. Then things like these. I'm just noticing that there's a nice shadow area here. So all this is what we're going to do. Right. Now let's try making that cup of tea. Now that's an easy thing to do. Again, the cup does not have to be perfect. And because of the particular design it has on it, it makes for a good subject. And we are basically just drawing leaves. So it can be a very graphic image of the leaves also. And as far as the design is concerned, depending upon how well you were able to draw the cup, you can just translate the design in this orientation. If you don't see the full design, don't draw the full design and keep the design in, I guess, maintain the integrity of the design. So if, okay, how can I explain this? It's not enough to merely draw a design on this cup. There is a certain reason why certain colors and shapes have been used in that way. So just squiggling something won't really cut it. Fitting something in just because you need to might not work. So if you make a cup that is this tiny, you may not be able to fit in too many details. Then in that case, if you want to maintain the integrity of the design, you could just do a small version of the design that you see, so long as the, say the amount of negative space you see in the reference image cup is about the same that you'll see in this cup. And this is something that you will encounter very frequently whenever patterns are involved, because the size of the object that we draw is going to vary according to our composition. And in some cases, you may have a lot of space to make the design accurately. But in places like when we made that, I'll show you the carpet design, which we did for.
That was beautiful, huh? Which country was that?
Yeah, that was Marrakesh.
Yeah,
It
beautiful.
took a long time to do it, but
So good.
it was like the closest facsimile of the of how I could see those designs.
It looks like a photograph though.
You know why? It's because
Really
of
beautiful.
the shadows. There are very subtle shadows in all these places that makes it look more lively. So the design on this is convincing. Over here, it's convincing that it's a carpet, but this is not as detailed as the original design was, but it was so tiny that I could obviously not replicate it to this size. But I kept the integrity of the design, the negative space, the colors, all of that, and it works. All right.
Do
Even
you
the
have
ones that
a
are
recording
hanging.
of that, Aditi?
This is for the travel batch. So I do have a recording, but just to maintain some separation between the regular batches and to encourage more people to join that batch
Okay.
kept as a private
Okay.
batch.
Okay.
But please join that batch. It is currently suspended because nobody is attending and some people are traveling. But when I come back, I really want to revive it. We are doing amazing stuff in that batch. Okay.
Is that only on Saturday, Sunday, Aditi?
No, it's on Friday afternoons from 2 to 4. But I don't mind changing the timing for a few months after I come back.
Is it only for 1 month or is it a permanent ongoing
No,
class?
no. So it was an ongoing class, and we did 3 countries. We did this Venice in Jan, and we did Barcelona in Feb, and we did Morocco in March. And then everybody had to kind of abandon it. So it was going really well, but we need more people in that batch. Then we can sustain it.
Yeah. Please shift it to weekend.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind. Saturday afternoons or something, please share.
Yeah.
The time is
Like we
convenient
did
for
the
you.
food one for a few weeks, I learned a lot, in that batch with you. Yeah, for the food.
Yeah, good. Okay, so let me do.
Aditi, I also don't mind joining the travel class as an extra apart from this one.
That'll be great. So do you think a Saturday afternoon might work?
Saturday afternoon might work for me.
2 to 4 or
Yeah.
something for a few months? We can try it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and
so
I'll be too summerish now, so no one wants to step at
who wants
that.
to go out? That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we can do something for the next 2, 3 weeks at least while I'm here. We have at least 3 Saturdays. We can do another one. I'll put you in on the group. Perfect. And I'll also ask the other group members.
When are you returning, Aditi?
I'm coming back on the 8th of July.
Okay.
And then, yeah, after that, immediately I'll restart the classes.
So next month we have no class in May.
It all depends on Susan, who's quietly sitting over there in the corner. I
Okay.
have asked her to take some classes, but
Oh, okay.
I know she's got so much stuff around her that I'm giving her time to think about it, so that you all can enjoy a completely different set of things to do. I think it'd be good fun. So please, everyone, write to her and encourage her. It'll be great to have her do the class. I'll also enjoy watching the recordings for a change. I don't have to hear my own.
Yeah, she does really nice Instagram
Yeah, so we will
classes.
feel the
Yeah, I've
same,
attended,
Suzanne.
I think almost all of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
The
so
Instagram life is
lucky.
very different from having a 1.5 hour.
Just a
Super
little different, Susan. Not that
Mostly I'm
different.
talking to myself. It's very different. Very, very different.
You
We
just think
get-
you're on Instagram. You'll be talking to all of us, you know us.
I know. No, it's always scary the first time.
Yeah, it'll be scary, but it's good to do it with these guys rather than complete strangers.
That's true. You have a point.
All right. Now, next thing to do is the boat. So, again, notice only the lines in the boat. You can make the shape with just, say, a vertical line as I see it, a horizontal front almost, and then the boat goes sideways. So notice this angle. And always when you look at the angle, you can use your pen or pencil, hold it against the image and see what clock direction it shows you. Because in our heads, the boat is looking like it's going far behind. So we'll end up making very steep lines and our boat looks very twisted. But if you just hold your pen on that angle, maybe I can share it and I can demonstrate. So in this case, I'm drawing the line from here. Oops, black is not visible. From the center. So this gives me like one spine of the boat. Then I actually see this almost horizontal. Whereas our eye will tell us that this looks very round and we'll end up making a very round bottom. And then here comes the tricky bit. Most of you, if you do it by thinking about the line, there's a likelihood that you're going to make your line go this tall. Because in your mind, you think that the boat is at such an angle that obviously to show the length of the boat, you're going to have to make a line that goes much higher on the page. But if you objectively look at it, it is an angle that's just about pointing towards 2 o'clock or even lower. So if we say this is 12, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So it is even lower than 2. Now, after you've done this comes the distance. So you can even see that the height that I have made in the first place and the length of the boat from the first point are more or less the same length. You can hold your pen to it and see whether it is the same. And from there, you can then make another line that goes straight up, another line that goes towards 11 o'clock, and follow the same process to come all the way back. Once you have this grid, it'll become a lot easier for you to draw the shape. So after this grid is done, then you will see where does the boat bend on the bottom and where does it bend on the top. You will start making different lines accordingly. So here, this is the bend of the boat. It's almost straight towards the right of the center of this first line that I've drawn and goes up only on the left. And that is what gives us the illusion of a rounded bottom. And then it goes almost straight because it is floating and then gently turns up and in. Okay. Do you want me to share this image? I think you have understood the concept, right? I don't need to share it. Okay. Right. So now if I review, even my line has gone higher. So it can come much lower. It's about this size, then go up. And turns over here. And then it's just a matter of literally seeing with your eyes and figuring out whether what you see is what you have drawn. And believe me, the whole process of practicing art is convincing the brain to do what the eye is seeing without thinking about it. And convincing your hand that it does not need directions from the brain to move and draw what the eye sees. Now the straw is very time consuming to draw. So only draw lines that simulate the effect. And then you will have these lines running across in a few places. So it almost looks like a tile structure. And to create a differentiation between the bottom or the base and the sides of the boat, change the texture here. The dominant texture on the sides of the boat is more about the rounded binding of the straw. And then, of course, you have a nice bushy top here. And in my situation, if I were to make this in my final picture, this looks rather ugly, now. So I will take a fat pen and make a clean line around it. And it's almost as if in Marathi we say आवरून घेतलं. So the equivalent of shoving all your clothes underneath the bed so that your room looks clean. And after this is done, we can easily just add some colors and shadows to make it look realistic, and all these lines will become meaningless. Now, if you want to make a reflection of this, again, you don't have to draw it. When you're painting it, we can make the reflection also. All right, so that's 3 items done. Let's make the, I quite like the capybara. So let's make that. I think it's quite a curious creature. I can't imagine that this is supposed to be a rat. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, this cousin to the rat.
It's very cute. Okay, so again with this, look for shapes. You have an oval shape for the face with a straighter nose area. Small ears in the back. Parallel lines for the neck, one from the top left and one from the middle of this oval. And when you're drawing animals, here it is fine to draw lines which are fractured like that. You will also be able to see the proportion by measuring the head and counting the body in that unit. Now, again, this is another example of how we don't know how the main body of this animal is because it's obscured by its baby. So don't try to draw the body by imagining it. I think the baby is going to look the same as drawing the face of the mother. So draw the baby in the right place, instead of trying to imagine how the body might be. And instead of drawing a capybara body, you might land up drawing a goat body or something else. And we don't want to have that confusion. So if you are anyway drawing objectively, it really won't matter what you land up drawing. As long as you see it, you will be able to draw it. So position of all these features is also very important. And it's been a while since we've made animals now. I think we did it in Feb. No? So for the newbies, let me show you how this can be done. We again go to that internal geometry. We have drawn an oval. Now the oval is a very subjective tool. So I would always, in fact, recommend making circles and then a circle next to a circle and then other shapes around the circle. So you have, say, one circle there, one circle of a similar size, somewhere over here. Unfortunately, I can't move these silly things. I would have liked to make it on the side. And then combine these can give us an oval. So you get just a slightly better understanding of how the oval works. Because a circle is a circle, that you don't have too many variables for that. Then look at where all the features come by dividing our circle, or sorry, our oval into halves. You have the eye at the 1/4 level and the nose also on the same line. And the mouth is somewhere over here and the neck starts somewhere over here, just a little left of the center. The neck is almost parallel, but the top moves away a little bit. So at the shoulder, the lines spread out a little bit. Then again from here, you will see the geometry. So from the neck to the tip of the nose is a certain distance. And then you measure the same distance towards the body side. I'm doing this visually. I have no way of measuring this other than being convinced that visually it looks the same. And then this could be 2 times. So obviously the body is not 2 times. It's not 1.5. It is just a little more than 1 3/4. The measurement of the the distance between the neck and the tip of the nose. And using the same thing, you could also measure the height of the body at this point, the height of, or the legs, position of the legs further down. You know, you can do all this on the photograph that is sent even in the reference image. Just take it in some message. You can create this thing that you send to yourself, and you can make all these lines just to be able to figure out how the logic of these shapes works. And of course, when you're drawing, only after you've drawn, you will be able to judge how accurate you have come. So now I've drawn the nose and the eye. And I'm going to make the neck a little shaggier, so then my oval line becomes slightly invisible. A little bit of the ear on the other side is visible. Whiskers, straight nose down. And I think this is too vertical, so I could probably take it down. Now, when I'm drawing this, I want you to notice that my hand, only my fingers are working. When you try to draw a texture where firstly you use your whole hand, it becomes very bulky. So try to get into, or try practicing making these texture lines just by moving your fingers. And this could be used for anything, like making the fur or making shadows. For example, if I were to make a shadow here, I can just practice moving my fingers in that section. So I have seen that the clunky line comes from the way you hold the pen and the way you wield the pen for the different textures. The lighter you hold, the better, and allow for the fingers to just fly on paper. And this is the one thing that you are not naturally born with. Let me assure you, I have been told by a lot of people that you must be born with this, but no, I have spent hours and hours doing this. So it's like yoga. The more you do it, the more strength and flexibility you will attain. So the trick is to plant your hand firmly, hold your paper, your book firmly, make sure you are seated comfortably, and only your fingers should move. So you do need a certain strength in the palm of your hand and control on the fingers. So if you try writing with your left hand, you'll notice that it's just the lack of strength in the grip that doesn't allow you to make lines in a predictable manner, which you've already got in your usual writing hand. So it becomes a lot easier to then train it to do this. And once you can do it, then the next step is to know where to do it and how much. Okay, so this is done. I think my capybara's legs are a little too thin and long. Okay, she can be a good model afterwards. Bulk up the body. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, done. And the last one can be the map if we have space. So let's try making a composition. And I'm making 2 rectangular shapes about the proportion of our A4 size page. This one becomes shorter. And in this, I'm going to force myself to think of 2 compositions. If you always work with only one composition in mind, you're not exploring all the other options that are possible. So, if we go by our usual technique, we make the building here. We can write the name of the building somewhere here, maybe make some clouds and painting or something, and write the text below. We could make the cup of that leafy tea somewhere over here, superimposing the building maybe, and have text over here. Then between the boat and the animal, we have to figure out where we want to make either. So let's start off with maybe making the animal over here. And even yesterday we made a map up here. So I'm just going by that familiar plan. And I'm superimposing the capybara on the map. Again, just a design choice can be different. And lastly, we have the boat. So when I make the boat here, it could also be located near the place where these boats are seen. So maybe I could look for the place where they make these boats, and that will give me guidance about what to place where. Now, after this
That
is done,
that will be inland, Aditi, because that Lake Titicaca is on the border with Bolivia.
yeah, so it's somewhere over here, right? So that's perfect. So we can
So half
easily,
of the lake is in Peru and the other half is in Bolivia.
wonderful. Okay, so we can always draw it like that, and you can write Lake Titicaca here, or you can write about that over here where you have the boat. So also in your rough composition, thumbnail composition, make room for text and see how much text you want to write where. And then the last one can be, I think Peru has a very nice insignia, like a shield, pretty much like how we made the shield for this fellow. What's his name? Anguilla. Oh, I didn't make the shield. So you can write Peru, and in fact, maybe you can write El Peru, because I see that on the map. I don't know why they call it El Peru, but maybe that's interesting. So a linguistic artifact can also be part of the design. What else? Yeah, and we can have the flag maybe. I think the flag is just like this, and whatever else you want to write, or you can draw other stuff. So maybe you could also draw things like postage stamps. I had so much fun making these tiny thumbnail illustrations in the Goa journal. And I really enjoy making them in my journals per se. These are book covers by Amrita Patil. They are just color splotches that look like, they just remind you of the book, because when you see a book that you're familiar with, even far away, you can instantly spot and say, I've read this book. So all you need to do is make it like so. And in this case, if we have room, we could draw other things over here. We could draw artifacts. We could draw old fossils maybe from Machu Picchu or whatever. So wherever you have tiny spaces, you can think of drawing other things. All right, now flip everything around as if our Lego bricks have been taken and somebody's demolished them, and we can now change the design to doing what we've not done in the first image. So let's say we make the map the prominent feature in this and put the map right in the center. Now you can draw the buildings in different places. So maybe I can draw the building here. I can draw the boats here because that is where the lake is. Then I can draw the capybara and T. And now if there is a lot of space, maybe I can shift the building even over here and then make this the T spot. And we can write Peru like this. Then we can do some other stuff, like because the map is the hero, you can draw a scale along the side. I love making the scale. And it does not have to be accurate. It just gives you a nice design to go by. Sorry, it won't go through here. Starts looking more authentic. You can put a compass in one corner. Usually it's on the top, but since you are in charge of your design, you can put it anywhere you want. And that's it. So we have two very different compositions, and none of these variations in the compositions go waste. If you don't use it here, you'll use it somewhere else. Okay, all right, let's get to it. Okay, so which one do you want to choose? First one or second one?
I like the first one.
First one? Okay,
Me too, the first one.
all right. Okay, let's go with the first one. So let's first, now you know the composition and you know everything that has to be done. You can independently do it also. If you want to, you can do it like yesterday's style. Use color pencils, draw everything nice, loosey-goosey. Even this will be fine. Or if you want to, you can make pen illustrations like I've made in the back. What to do, what to do, what to do.
Aditi, I have to leave. Sorry. So I
Okay.
will catch up the rest of the recording. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Have fun.
Okay, bye, bye. There's a student who comes for the Friday in-person class, and she has a problem that all her lines go upwards. Do any of you have that problem when you're drawing these horizontal lines?
Go upwards, meaning?
This, if she wants to make a horizon line like this, it won't be
Ah.
horizontal, it'll be a few degrees.
Samjha.
Good.
Yeah.
And then the whole building is like the leaning tower of whatever you are trying to draw. All tilting about 15 degrees to the left. So,
I like the description.
so we were trying really hard to figure out what might be her problem, because she seemingly sits straight, she keeps the book straight, but her lines refuse to be straight.
Probably the way she holds her book.
Yeah, we tried that. She said, no, I hold the book. So she said she holds the book straight, and she has done this in front of me. So, and I see that she does it. And she said, even though I hold my book like that, my line just goes like 15 degrees up. So I was wondering if any of you might also have that problem, and I could then figure out a common solution.
I just skip sections. Somehow, I don't know, I just end up, I don't know where one part goes.
That is normal. That is very. But at this stage, I'd just like everyone to look at the lines that I'm making. Here's another point that I find people ready to give up. When you see your lines, like one line is joining here and there's some mess over here and everything starts looking a little cluttered. So this has happened to me. That's why I want to point this out. I would feel that my lines have begun to look very ugly, especially if they do this. And then I want to abandon the illustration. But I still want this effect of a casual line. So that is it's almost like an oxymoron. You want an easy life, but you want it air conditioned. ऐसे नहीं होता है ना? So you have to learn to enjoy the casual lines. That is what you enjoy in somebody else's work, where the lines are very free flowing. But the problem is that with such few lines, the flaws are more evident than when you finish the illustration. Once the illustration is done, the whole, I guess, the body is complete, and the little flaws are then not perceived, I would say. And the dramatic difference you will notice in your illustration from this point through all the other details till the very last detail you have to make, is really remarkable. It's like you're drawing it, you're seeing the building emerge in front of your eyes, and you can't believe that it's getting better and better. Only because it is finishing. So if you catch yourself judging your lines prematurely, just maybe assure yourself that think of any interesting building of the world which is lauded for its perfection and beauty, how it might have looked during construction. The other thing also to do is don't draw one feature fully on one side and then go to the other. This is something that will come in handy when we have to do portraits as well. Draw a manageable number of elements on one side, especially for symmetrical illustrations, and draw the same on the other side, developing the lines on both sides simultaneously or near simultaneously. Because when you finish one side fully, you forget where you started. And then in trying to recreate that shape on the other side never happens. Then you do all sorts of jugaad to figure it out, and you are lost in your own attempts. So I know it seems too much of a tedium to do 2 lines here, 2 lines here, 2 lines here, 2 lines here. But in the long run, that is a much better bet. Now, when you're making the details, zoom into the picture only after you have made the framework. If you zoom in before making the framework, you might misread or miscalculate the proportions. At its regular size, we will see all the features a little dull, unsharp. And then when you zoom in, suddenly everything comes in sharp focus and you can see much better. But you don't know how to draw it, and you'll end up making some lines too big and some lines too small. So everything goes for a toss. I never even saw these lovely white windows here. The more buildings you will draw, the more you'll start seeing the differences in architectural styles. The Spanish and Portuguese have a lot of similarities in their architecture. So when you see certain features in this, like this kind of an arch, this will look, you will find something like that in some of the Goan churches, but you won't find them in like the English buildings. And it's quite interesting how each of them have developed their own style of architecture, all coming from a 2000-year-old Roman influence, but unique in their own respect. So sometimes it is influenced by maybe plants and flowers. Sometimes it's influenced by something cultural. Sometimes they want to break away from a perceived culture. So architecture can be a clue to a lot of things that historically have occurred. Now, when you come to these complicated shapes, just look at the shadows, and the shadows will give you a clue about what is happening over there. If you don't see a line, don't draw a line, don't draw a joint. So I see some curly twirly things happening, some horizontal lines. That's about it. And then I see some shadows over here. So I see a deep shadow, which can come in another color. And then shadows over here, and then these two pillars going down. And then something that looks like a scroll almost. But I would urge you to observe and see what you see, because all of us see the world around us very differently. There may be some things that are similar, but when it comes to vague shapes, we could be poles apart and we would all be right in what we see. That's why psychologists and psychiatrists make so much money by showing us Rorschach ink blots and things like that. So in time, when you become more comfortable with making drawings, you could try to challenge yourself to make a particular picture from different sides. Like, it seems to be logical that we make a building from the bottom up, but you might also want to make it from the top to bottom, or you might also want to make it from inside to outside. I would not recommend coming outside to inside. That is advanced level stuff. It can be very discouraging, but you can definitely try more things than one as a challenge, just as fun. Top floor comes above that cross. And then even higher. Oh, I have made this very short by mistake, so that window in the center is totally missing. But maybe I'll just draw it anyways. Because I didn't have room on top. I've goofed up somewhere away. Again, this has become too tall. But it is not a big deal. Okay, we have another 8 minutes to go. Anybody with any issues? Do you want to check? Want to show your art?
So I have no space for the top part left.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I
Can
don't
I
know what to do it. Sorry?
can I have a look at it?
Sure, sure.
Okay, let me see what we can do.
I've
Oh.
just scribbled something.
Yeah, no,
and,
let it go beyond. It's fine.
okay.
So,
So I'll probably redo it. Let's see.
yeah. But
But that's okay.
suppose you manage only so much, that is fine. That's okay.
No, a little above that, but the top roundish part, yeah, till then. That's right.
Yeah. So don't crunch this to fit it. Okay.
Okay.
Let it go outside of the space. That's fine. You because even then the aesthetic of the building will not be affected. So if this is where your book or paper ends, that's fine. But if we
Okay.
crunch this, then all of this will get affected. So it looks
Okay.
like a completely different building altogether.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Let's see, Ritu is very nice. Ritu, draw complete lines over here. The lines that you've drawn right now are good for the capybara, but here, like over here, don't draw short lines. And
Yeah, that's what I found. They're like,
yeah,
they're not
and
definite lines like yours.
yeah, and this again, this is it could be that this is maybe even how you write. Maybe you write very fast.
Hmm.
So the hand is impatient. I have another student here, Chris, who also
Hmm.
makes multiple lines for no reason.
Hmm.
If you have to make a box, you can
Hmm.
make a box like this, but he will make a box like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it almost seems as if unless you do this, either it's not enough. Second is your hand is moving out of your control. So
Yeah, just hand just wants to move too fast.
yeah, so don't do it. So just take a breath and make sure that you draw only one line at a time. It'll take a very short while for you to get adjusted to this.
I'll redo the thing, after having a look at your pic.
Yeah, but also in this very picture, take a fatter pen and
Okay.
mark the big lines with just one line. So do this practice of marking only one line at a time on the existing picture.
Hmm. ठीक है.
Okay. Let's see, Ritika's. Oh, how cute is that? Very nice. I love it.
And I was consciously first time drawing the way you said, you draw first line here, then first line on the other side. So I
Uh,
consciously feel that my lines were better.
Show, Ritika, show.
How much
Dikha.
the proportion has to be, for both the sides.
yes.
Perfect, perfect. Lovely.
Very
Lovely,
nice.
Ritika.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
lovely. So I also tried to follow the
Uh,
symmetry of doing one on the right and one on the left, and it started helping me once you said that,
Great.
Otherwise, I was just focusing on one side, but now I know better. Yeah.
Very good. Very nice. Okay, so quick coloring. You all don't have to do this. I'm just going to quickly color this. So you just see, just relax now. I'll get you water.
Ritika, when are you going on your holiday?
I go in June.
अच्छा अभी है time.
Yes.
Okay, so when you are making a picture that is this casual, our painting also can be fairly casual. In fact, if it is casual, it tends to make the picture look better, I feel. So don't paint with me, just observe the process of painting. Now, I prefer to keep, whenever I'm going to paint on the edge, I prefer to keep a guard sheet so that my color doesn't go underneath. I find it very messy otherwise. And I'm painting the building in any combination of yellows and yellow ochre. Now, this is also just a choice that because I want my picture to stand out. And I will leave certain sections unpainted for the highlight. So though the painting is just splashing color onto the paper, the keeping your mind on perspective, shadows, light, a little bit of time of day and things like that, or materials used, can really make the picture look good. So there are windows here which are green, so I will not paint those. There are shadows from the top, so the bottoms of pillars I will not paint. So whenever painting, don't go like that, flat, 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 like how kids paint. Not for this one. But again, over here, use very short strokes, loaded brush, big fat brush also. And you will have a little bit of splatter. Let that happen. The big brush will simply force some paint to go out. Let it go. Keep an eye on the places that you want to avoid putting color, like the windows. My window has just been colored. And even if you haphazardly leave some white spots, that's fine. You don't have to be 100% accurate. This itself shows that there's sunlight and the building is in bright sunlight. After you've made the first application, if you feel the need to go over it again, you have the opportunity to do that. And at this stage, you can also add in a second color like burnt umber. Just make sure that you don't have too many puddles wherever you are adding the second color. The purpose of painting in this kind of illustration is to add another dimension to your painting. It's not about the accuracy of paint as much. So we need to relax a little bit about the outcome. Instantly now the yellow is going to pop out. And then while the yellow dries, I will make a sky as usual. And in this sky now, I'm also going to invite some of the yellow to come in. Simply because that effect just makes the
Lovely shade. Yeah.
it just makes the
Got
paint.
a little fluorescent glow to it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
Mm.
seeing as this is a church, it almost looks like it is glowing.
Mm.
So it adds to the mystique of the building and the drama. It does look like the building is on fire. Again, the same thing had happened with the Tower of London. And the kids' class and the kids are a little upset. Like, it looks like it's on fire. Now, all these colors that I'm adding will need to be added in different spots, not in the same spot over and over again. And I can also mix this up by adding another shade like a cobalt blue or even a burnt umber or something to do the shadows in a few places. Now, since the colors are not totally dry, I might have some bleeding shadows. But here I would take a small brush and go around certain features. So then it looks a lot more delicate. So there is a place where you let yourself go wild, and there are places where you are controlled and focus on the minute details. They're not, again, too accurate, but they will make certain elements just pop.
Just adds depth, isn't it?
Yeah. Same thing over here, no? Here, instead of making one flat patch, I'm going to paint in the negative because there seem to be some features that are holding up that part of the, there we go, bleeding shadows, but that won't matter. And in this spot, I won't even bother to make those lines in pen or pencil. I'll just make the shadows. Knowing that this is what I have to do, I can repeat this. And it's much quicker. So with the least amount of effort, you are adding depth, you are adding shadows, making things look so much more interesting. Then there are shadows over here along the edges, some over here in the window. And these shadows are at an angle, you'll notice. So just make it like so.
Is there a reason why you've painted the building like yellow ochre and burnt umber? Because the
Um,
building looks a little grey,
Yeah, so
browny grey.
correct. But this is the closest that I found because the other color then I would have chosen would probably be a dusky pink.
Okay.
What the building looks like and how you want it to look in your book are two different
Mm.
things altogether.
Okay. This,
And
of course, adds a lot of dimension to it in
yeah,
terms of
yeah, and
character.
so much fun. Now there are steps here, so I will add some steps because I hate to put a building bang on the road. There has to be some work given to the person who wants to go up. So in this place, we can change the color a little bit, add a gray. This is our usual generic gray.
Mm, mm.
And also add a little foreground, just a stroke.
Mm.
And the other places we have shadows. You must try to put in the shadows wherever they are visible, because they will, again, give you the depth you need. And again, with shadows, remember, no? Shadows can also have multiple tones. So you make one. If you want to darken it, don't paint the whole thing black, unless, of course, it is black. You can always paint it from the side and make it look even more dramatic. Okay,
Yes, lovely.
great. So hopefully you have concentrated and seen how this is done and you can carry on with the rest of the page. I won't be able to upload the videos till later tonight. So both yesterday's and today's video will come up only later tonight since I have to run out of the house right now. So if there are any questions, just message me or just wing it. Just do it yourself so you'll be able to manage. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
So I'll see you in 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
When are you leaving?
No, I am going to Goa on Thursday.
Okay.
Monday. There's a friend's big birthday coming up. So
Okay.
that's it. Then today was the additional class.
Additional class.
I'm coming
Okay.
back on Monday, so then I'm there.
So you're going today or what?
No, I'm going on Thursday.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
here for a bit.
So whenever you have time, I just need like 15 minutes with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's,
So just message me, then I'll call you.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye.